I'm going to start. A big part of the Boys and Girls Club of StonehamWakefield is our middle school population. And as a recently former middle schooler, I can honestly say preteens can be very dramatic. They have few responsibilities, rely on their parents almost everything, and would worry about the silliest things. I remember in 6th grade, the other kids' worries were endless. They would worry about who liked them, what they'd wear. They worry about their grades. I never had those worries. I had other worries. For example, I remember worrying about my brothers and sister. I'm the oldest of 4, and I always made sure they were okay before I was. At 11 years old, I cooked for them most nights, and was the only one who would tuck the 2 little ones in. But their safety was my biggest concern. In my house, drugs and alcohol were always a big problem. When things got rough, I would ask my brothers and sister if they were okay. And many times, I wouldn't leave the house because I was worried something bad would happen to them. For example, I was always worried about DCF. They were at our house constantly, so what if they decided to surprise us with a search and I wasn't there to help anybody? It was a constant anxiety that I always had in the back of my head. Worst of all, I thought that kind of thing was normal, because it was all I knew. But the worst anxiety I ever came to was when a lot of my classmates were worrying too. The night of our 6th grade dance. I remember being excited for a school event. That night, my mom was not just drinking as usual. She was mixing Percocets with her drinks. I forgot about the dance and started worrying about my 3 younger siblings. I did what I usually do when my mom's drinking became extreme and locked them in one of the bedrooms and told Jacob, the second oldest, to distract my younger siblings, Lily and Nathan, until she calmed down. Unfortunately, she didn't calm down. She got more and more intense. My uncle, who was one of the 10 who lived with us, tried to keep me away from her, and because of my terrible anxiety, I was hyperventilating and started feeling nauseous. This made my mom angry. She screamed that no one would take her daughter and violently grabbed me. She forced me out of the room. She threatened to drink bleach, cut her wrists, and pass out. She eventually woke up and locked herself in the living room, and when the cops came, they had to open the door by force. That night, everything changed. My dad was given custody. We moved states, and my dad brought us to the Boys and Girls Club. I hated it. I would fight other kids, I would yell at staff. I'd hide in the bathroom and refuse to leave. I was in shock. I went from a dope house surrounded by druggies to a club where everyone kept telling me they cared. But I thought nobody cared. I thought I was better off dead. They started winning my siblings over. One by one, each of my younger brothers and sisters started to like the club. I thought they were traitors. Then they slowly started winning me over. They even helped my depression, and I cannot repay them enough. I started writing poetry. I got involved in other programs. They even gave me a job.
You're better than Alex and Joey.
Every Friday, every Monday and Wednesday, I run the art room. At home, my father is a single father working a full-time job, a recovering alcoholic, and probably the strongest man I've ever met. My dad is here. Stand up. My brother is here too. He's 14, and he's my best friend. You stand up too. And while our house is still small, our life is so much better. I am now 15 years old, a sophomore in high school. I have amazing siblings. My brother Jacob is like my best friend, a spectacular father and a grandmother who support me on everything I do. And I have the boys come I can always count on for anything. So tonight, you've heard about and seen a lot of our programs. Everything from woodworking to building computers to sports to art. But the best part of the Boys and Girls Club is the staff. They care. They really care. And they refuse to give up on you, even if you gave up on everybody else. But more specifically, I would like to give a shout out to Jessica Anthony for being like the older sister I never had, but always wanted. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Jess. So before you leave, if you don't donate because of the programs, I want you to donate because of the staff. I want you to donate so that the Boys and Girls Club of Stoneman Wakefield will continue to never quit on the Ashleys, the Jacobs, the Nathans, and the Lilies. So I wrote a poem, and I'm going to end with it. For days on end, darkness surrounded me, swallowing me whole into the pity of my own problems. Feeling as if nobody cared seemed to be a daily routine. And it seemed as the days went on, I would always end up back in the tunnel leading me back into yesterday. As the time passed on, I felt the same, just another cut on my wrist to help mend the pain. Yet that was temporary, and it led to so much more. I needed help, but who to go to, I wasn't sure. My therapist, and 3 years later, I've grown so much, and the people who helped me, I cannot thank enough. Thank you.